What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is White Gamer. Today we have the best CDM built for level 25, level 50, level 75, and level 100. This first one will be for level 25. So, for your position, it's going to be CDM. Height, we're going to go with 6 foot. You definitely want to have some height when you're playing CDM. Weight, we're going to go with 160 pounds. Now, for your playstyle plus, as soon as you hit level 26, guys, go with Anticipate Plus. I repeat, as soon as you hit level 26, go with this one. But we're gonna, since you're level 25, you're just gonna have the Tiki Taka Plus, or if you're below level 25. But remember, as soon as you hit level 26, go Anticipate Plus. Then from your regular one, we're gonna go with the Quick Step. This is gonna allow you to accelerate a little bit quicker, and then you're gonna go with the Intercept. You want to be able to trap the ball when your pro makes that interception. And then for your last one from the regular one, we're going to go with the ping pass. The passes come out much more quicker and the ball travels much quicker to your teammates. To activate this one, all you have to do is press RB and A or R1 and X if you're on PlayStation. But these are the playstyles and playstyle plus that we went for level 25 CDM build. For the running style, the one I recommend is the Medalist. Guys, you can go with whatever one you prefer. Running style only affects the way your pro runs, but I recommend the Medalist. Now, for your skill tree, you're only going to have 48 skill points at level 25, so get your 3 acceleration and then get these 2 sprint speed right here. Now, let's give you 76 acceleration and 84 sprint speed. It's not the greatest. Remember, you are a CDM, guys. When you're playing CDM, it's all about how you're positioning yourself. You don't want to get yourself out of position too much. Remember, you can always get more pace through the facilities. Don't worry, we will upgrade the pace as you go up higher in the levels. Then from the shooting, just go with the 4-star, not the 4-star, go with the 3-star weak foot. The 3-star weak foot will do the job for now. We will upgrade that later in the higher levels. Then from the passing, get your long passing and then short pass. You get both of them at 82, which is decent. You know, you have the ping pass, so you should be covered when it comes to short passes or long passes on the ground. Then from the dribbling, you're going to get the dribbling focus. On the right side, get your ball control focus and then get the ball control. The ball control is going to be very important for your pro when he or she is making interceptions. So you want to be able to intercept the ball. Now, again, these stats aren't the greatest because you're only level 25. We were going to upgrade them later on as you level up. Then from the defending, which is one of the most important parts of the CDM, get your interceptions. And then on this right side, get your standing tackle and defensive awareness. Now, this is already good stats already at level 25. You have 87 interceptions, which is good. 86 defensive awareness. The defensive awareness is going to allow for your pro to perform better interceptions, better standing tackles, and slide tackles. Then you got 89 standing tackle, which is really important. You want to be able to make good tackles, especially if you have the Anticipate Plus already. Then from the physical, we're just going to get these 2 strength and then these 2 jumping right here. 86 jumping is good. You got your physical already in the mid 80s, which is already good at level 25. And then you got the 83 strength. If we back out, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be an 83 rated CDM. The overall doesn't matter. It's individual stats. You have 80 pace, which is good for a CDM at level 25. You got the 3-star weak foot. You have 82 pass, short and long. Then you got 75 dribbling with 86 defending and 83 physical. This was level 25 CDM build. Now we have level 50 CDM build. Your position is going to be CDM. Height is going to be 6'1". Weight is going to be 160 pounds. For your playstyle plus, I highly recommend Anticipate Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be doing a lot of tackles. This is going to improve the chance of you winning the tackle. And when you do make that tackle, the ball should stay right in front of your feet. Now, from your regular one, I recommend the Quick Step so you can just accelerate a little bit quicker. Then we're going to go with the Intercept so you can trap the ball. Not only will this improve your interceptions and improve your reach of your pro, but it will trap the ball, which is important. You don't want the ball bouncing off of you when you make the interception. So make sure you go with the Intercept. Then from the regular one, we're going to go with the ping pass from the regular passing. This is allow for the ball to travel much quicker. To activate this, you press RB and A. If you're on PlayStation, it's R1 and X. This is really, really good, guys. It's going to reach, the ball's going to reach your teammates really, really quick on the ground, and it's very, very, very good. Then we're going to go with the Bruiser, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to help you just push off your opponents off the ball super easy, and you can win possession for your team. Then we're going to go with the long ball pass, boys and girls. So you can find your teammates that are far out on the pitch. Or if you need to do a chip pass as well. But this one's really good. So if you see your winger or any of your other teammates making a run far out with X or square, You can find them far out. X if you're on Xbox, square if you're on PlayStation. And then last but not least, guys, there's two options you can go with. You can go with the aerial, which will give you a chance to jump even higher, or you can go with the press proven, which this is good because it's going to keep the ball very close to your feet when you're not running with the ball. And if you need to shield it, it'll be much more effective. I would go with the aerial so you can have that ability to jump even higher. But these are the playstyles and playstyle plus that we went for level 50. For the running style, the one I've been recommending has been the Medalist. I think this one's really good just for like CDMs and defenders in general, just because the way that your pro is running. Remember, this just affects the way your pro runs. You can go with the Medalist or whichever one you prefer the most. Now we have the skill tree for level 50. You're going to get these 4 acceleration, and then on this right side, your sprint speed, get 3 of these. Now, this gives you 77 acceleration and 85 sprint speed, which is good, guys. As a CDM, the most important thing is how you position yourself. If you're struggling with catching up to opponents, make sure you're positioning yourself much better. Remember, you can always get more pace through the facilities, but for now, we're going to leave the pace like this. We'll eventually upgrade it a little bit more in the higher levels. And then from the shooting, get the 4-star refoot, ladies and gentlemen. The 4-star refoot will do the job. It really will. You want to have the ability to pass with either of a foot, especially when you're under pressure and you can't always put it on your preferred foot. The 4-star will help out with that. And then from the passing, get your long passing, get these 3 long passing, and then get these 2 short passing right here. Now, this gives you 84 long pass and 83 short pass. That'll do the job for now, boys and girls. Trust me, as long as you're aiming it properly, that will do the job, especially since you have the long ball pass play style and the driven pass play style. Those are going to really help out with the short distance passes and long distance passes in the air. Then from the dribbling, get your dribbling focus, get the agility. Agility is important. Then on this right side, get your ball control focus, and then we're going to get that ball control. Get that ball control now. 83 agility is already good. As a CDM, you want to be able to turn quickly with the ball. You don't want to be turning too slow or else the opponents are just going to take away the ball from you. 78 balance. It's not the greatest, but it'll do the job for now. We're going to upgrade that in the higher levels. And then you got the 84 ball control, which I think is important because you don't want your pro taking bad control of the ball or it bouncing off of you. And the ball control is also very important for the interceptions. So you want your pro to trap the ball when you have high ball control. Then from the defending, which is one of the most important things, you're going to get your defensive awareness and interceptions. And then on this right side, the standing tackle and defensive awareness fill out. Now, this gives you 90 defensive awareness, which is really good. That's just going to allow for your pro not only to jockey better, but it's going to allow you to perform interceptions and standing tackle just much, much better. Then 93 standing tackle is very, very good, especially since you have Anticipate Plus. The only, if you're timing your tackles right, you should be winning it pretty much every single time. And then, of course, you got the 90 interceptions. If you're positioned properly, your pro will stick out the leg and make that interception. And then last but not least, we got the physical. We're going to go with some strength, and then we're going to go with some jumping. Now, this gives you 85 jumping, which is good. And you have the regular aerial. So you should be able to win most of your aerial battles, unless you come up against a center back that has aerial plus. Then you got 86 strength, which, yeah, that's really, really good. And then the reactions are important, guys. The reactions, we're going to upgrade them in the higher level, but that's going to allow for your pro just to react quicker and the overall responsiveness and also help you out with interceptions. Now, we back out. You're going to be an 86 rated CDM. You have 81 pace. You have the 4-star weak foot, 79 passing. But from the passing, what really matters is the long pass and short pass. 79 dribbling, 89 defending, and 85 physical. This was level 50 CDM built. Now we have level 75 CDM built. Your position is going to be CDM. You got really good physical and defending stats and still good passing stats. Height, we're going to go with 6'1". Weight, you're going to go with 160 pounds. Now, for your playstyle plus at this level, you're going to have everything on lock. First one I highly recommend is Anticipate Plus. You're going to be making or doing a lot of standing tackles and just tackles in general. So this is going to improve the chances of you winning them. And when you do make that standing tackle, the ball will be right in front of you. Then for your second one, guys, I highly recommend the ping pass. So to activate this, you press RB and A, or if you're on PlayStation, R1 and X. This allows for the ball to travel much quicker to your teammate. And it's really, really good just to, start building up from the CDM spot. Then from the regular play style, we're going to go with the quick step. This is going to allow you to accelerate quicker. Then we're going to go with intercept. Super important. Make sure you're using this if you're playing CDM because this is going to improve your reach to intercept the ball and it's going to trap the ball, which is most important. If you don't use this and you make an interception, the ball will just bounce off of you. Then we're going to go with the long ball pass so you can find your teammates that are far out on the pitch or if you need to do a chip pass for whatever reason. Next, we're going to go with Tiki Taka. Now, the Tiki Taka is not only good for the short distance passes, but for the one-time passes. So when you make an interception or you get the ball, you pass it one time, it passes it way, way quicker. Next, we're going to go with Aerial, so you can perform higher jumps. And then for this last one, it's all up to you. You can go with the Bruiser, which will allow you to push and out body your opponents super easy, and you can win possession. Or you can go with the Press Proven. This is going to keep the ball very close to your feet when you're not running with the ball, and you can shield the ball a bit more effectively. If I were you, I would go with the Bruiser, guys. It's really good, especially if you have advanced defending turned on. You can just, like I said, bully out your opponents and win possession for your team. But these are the playstyles and playstyle plus that we went for level 75. For the running style, the one I've been recommending has been the Medalist. I think this one's really good. It makes your pro teams fast, and it's good to track down your opponent or just get back to your CDM spot. You can use whichever running style you prefer. I recommend the Medalist. Now we have the skill tree for level 75. Get your acceleration filled out, and then these 3 sprint speed right here. Now this gives you 80 acceleration and 85 sprint speed. The most important thing when playing CDM is your positioning, guys. Now this should be more than enough. We are going to upgrade the pace a bit more in the higher levels. Remember, you can always get more pace through facilities, so keep that in mind. Then from the shooting, we're going to go with the 4-star weak foot. You want to have the ability to pass with either of your foot, especially when you're under pressure and you can't put it on your preferred foot. The 4-star weak foot will do the job. Then from the passing, get your long passing. Get the passing focus, and then we're going to get these 2 short passing just like this. Now, this gives you 88 long passing, which is really good. You should be able to find your teammates that are far out on the pitch, on the ground, or in the air, because you have the long ball pass and the pink pass plus. So keep that in mind. And then the 86 short pass, that is really good, boys and girls. That is really good. Then from the dribbling, get your dribbling focus. Get the agility. Get that agility. Agility is very important. Get the dribbling, and then get your ball control focus. We're going to get that ball control completely filled out. Then get the balance. Now, 87 agility is good. As a CDM, you don't want to be turning too slow, or else your opponent is just going to take the ball away from you. 82 balance is decent. Not the greatest, but it should do the job because you're going to have the strength and all that. And then the 86 ball control, of course, is important, boys and girls. You don't want your pro taking really bad control of the ball or the ball bouncing off of you. The ball control is very important, not only to trap the ball, but for interceptions as well. And then the 80 dribbling, that's decent, guys. And then from the defending, one of the most important things from the CDM build, get your interceptions completely filled out, and then your standing tackles completely filled out. Now you got 96 interceptions, which that's amazing. I'm telling you, you're gonna be, if you're nearby the ball, your pro will stick out the leg and make the interception because of the high interceptions, and you have the intercept play style. Then you got 93 defensive awareness with 93 standing tackle. Your standing tackles, if you're timing them right, you're gonna be winning them pretty much every single time. Now the 80 side tackle, don't worry about it. We're going to upgrade it just a little bit in the next main level. But you got the most important stats, which are interceptions, defensive awareness, and standing tackle. Now, last but not least, we got the physical. You're going to get the strength and aggression. Then you're going to get some jumping. And then we're going to get reactions, guys. Reactions is important for the responsiveness of your pro and for interceptions. Yes. This is going to allow you to intercept the ball much quicker because your pro is going to react quicker to the ball. So you definitely want to have some reactions. At 87 jumping, that is good. You're going to be winning a good amount of your headers or aerial battles in general. And then, of course, you got the 88 strength, so you can bully out your opponent and win possession. And we back out, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be an 88 rated CDM with 82 pace. You got the 4-star weak foot, 81 passing. But from the passing, what really matters is the long pass and the short pass. 82 dribbling, 92 defending, and 86 physical. This was level 75 CDM build. Now we have level 100 CDM build. Your position, we're going to go with CDM. This will give you way more physical stats, great defending stats. You're still going to have good passing and agility. Height, we're going to go with 6'1". You want to be somewhat tall, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to be too small as a CDM. Weight, you're going to go with 160 pounds. Now, for your playstyle plus, the first one I recommend is an Anticipate Plus. This is going to allow you to perform standing tackle just much more better and more accurately. And when you do make that standing tackle, the ball should stay in front of your feet. Next, we're going to go with a Ping Pass Plus. This is going to allow for the ball to travel much quicker. And to activate this, you press RB and A or R1 and X if you're on PlayStation. And this is just really good just to start off the build up or just to pass in general, ladies and gentlemen. The driven passes are so good this year. That's how I normally pass with driven passes. They're just really, really good. Then from your regular play style, go with a quick step, just allow you to accelerate quicker. Then we're gonna go with aerial, so your pro can perform higher jumps. Next, we're gonna go with intercept, so you can not only extend your pro's reach, but trap the ball. That's very important. So you can trap the ball. Next, we're gonna go with the long ball pass, so you can find your teammates that are far out on the pitch. So if you make that interception and you see your striker or your winger or whoever making a run far on the pitch with X on Xbox and Square on PlayStation, you will find your teammates. Or if you need to do a chip pass, then we're gonna go with Tiki Taka. Now the Tiki Taka is good not just for the short distance passes, but for the one-time passes. They come out really quick. So when you get the ball and you pass it right away, it's super quick. It's much, much quicker than if you didn't have it. Then last but not least, this is all up to you. You can go with the bruiser, which will allow you to push off your opponent just much easier, and it's really good. Or you can go with the press proven, which this will keep the ball very close to your feet when you're not running with the ball. And when you shield the ball, it'll be a little bit more effective. If I were you guys, I would go with the bruiser. You can also go with the regular block if you want. So this last one's all up to you, but the bruiser is it's just really good. Because like I said, you can just shove your opponents easily and win possession. But ladies and gentlemen, these are the playstyles and playstyle plus that we went for level 100. Now, for the running style, the one I've been recommending the entire video has been the Medalist. There's just something about this running style that makes your pro seems really fast when you're running back or when you're running with the ball. But just when you're off the ball and you're running, it just makes it feel fast. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can use whichever running style you like. This just affects the way your pro runs. You can use the default if you want, but I recommend the Medalist. Now we have the skill tree. Get your acceleration and sprint speed completely filled out. This gives you 80 acceleration and 89 sprint speed. When it comes to playing CDM, it's all about positioning, boys and girls. So if this is not enough pace, you can get more pace through facilities. I repeat, you can get more pace through the facilities. Do not waste your skill points on +1s. It's not worth it. But this should be more than enough, especially if you know what you're doing at CDM. Then from the shooting, get your 4-star weak foot. You want to have the ability to pass with either of your foot, especially when you're under pressure. You might not have time to put it on your preferred foot. The 4-star weak foot will do the job. From the passing, you're going to get your short passing just like this. Get your vision, and then you're going to get your long pass pretty much almost filled out like this. Now, this gives you 90 long pass, which is really good. Really good for CDM. You should be able to find your teammates in the air that are far out or even on the ground because you have the ping pass plus. Then you got 89 short pass. That is really good. Now, those are the two most important stats from a CDM when it comes to passing. Don't worry about the crossing. Don't worry about the curve. Now, from the dribbling, get your dribbling focused, and then you're going to get your agility filled out completely. And, of course, you definitely want to have some dribbling stats so the ball stays close to your feet as good as possible. Then, on this right side, get the ball control focused, and then you're going to get your balance filled out just like this. Now, you have 87 agility, which is good. You want to be able to turn quickly directions with the ball. You don't want to be turning too slow or else it's going to make it easy for opponents to just take the ball away from you. Then you got 84 balance, which is good. It's going to be difficult for opponents to knock you off the ball because you got the strength and you got good balance. Then you got the 86 ball control, which is important for interceptions as well. So you want your pro to trap the ball. So when you have high ball control and high interceptions, it's going to make it easier for your pro just to trap the ball. You don't want to be taking bad control, especially in the back. Then you got 82 dribbling, which is that's more than enough. Then from the defending, one of the most important things, definitely get your interceptions completely filled out and your standing tackle. And then we're going to get this slide tackle and defensive awareness. Now, the three most important things are the interceptions, defensive awareness, and standing tackle. You have them all in the 90s. 96 interceptions is amazing. If your pro's nearby the ball, you're going to make that interception because of the high stats, and you have the intercept play style. Then you got the 95 defensive awareness. So that's going to allow you to jockey better and just allow for you to perform better standing tackles and interceptions and sliding tackle. Then you got 93 standing tackle, which is really, really good. You have anticipate plus, and you have them in the 90s. That's really good. And then 83 slide tackle, guys, I think that's more than enough. Don't waste your skill points getting your slide tackle to the 90s. Like, slide tackles are pretty easy and just good in general. There's more important stuff to focus on. Then we got the physical. Get your strength. Definitely get your strength. Then we're going to get some jumping. And then jumping and stamina. The menus are laggy. Then we're going to get reactions and then mental focus. Now, Reactions are important, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to help you intercept the ball much quicker. It's going to allow for your pro to be way more responsive because you have higher reactions and animations are just react quicker. And then you got the 88 composure, which is good when you're under pressure. You don't want your pro losing the ball too easily, or you don't want your pro underperforming when you're under pressure. Then you got 96 strength, ladies and gentlemen. You should be able to outbody your opponents easily. Then you got the 94 jumping, which is really good. So when you come up against a CB for whatever reason, you should win some of them. Unless they have aerial plus, then you might not win them. But the majority of the headers or aerial battles, you should be able to win them. If we back out, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be a 90 rated CDM. You have 84 pace, which is good. Remember, you can always get more pace through facilities. You got the 4-star weak foot. You got the long pass and short pass, which that's the most important stat from the passing. 83 dribbling, 93 defending, and 89 physical. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for 36,000 subscribers.